I'm Lori Landay, Associate Professor of Cultural Studies at Berklee College of Music. In this past year, I was on sabbatical in the virtual world of Second Life. At first, I thought of virtual worlds like other things I've studied, films, television series, books. But what surprised me, what I didn't expect, was that I would find myself to be such a part of the virtual world, and that I would have such deep and meaningful relationships and connections with the people who I met there. Oh yes, in Second Life, people are represented through avatars, and this is mine, L1Aura Lori.
People can modify their avatars how they want, and not all are human. L1 is an idealized me, a pretty doll that I like to dress up in beautiful clothes, which is kind of embarrassing when I think about it. Maybe it's time for her to evolve. Anyway, I like getting to know people through the self-representations of their avatars, and there is often, for me, a strong feeling of closeness in my interactions with them. You were alone typing, but you were together, and the lack of physical presence makes the connection seem sort of pure.
And sometimes both people type the same thing at the same time, and it's amazing. It reminds me of the phrase from the Shakespeare sonnet, "The marriage of true minds." It doesn't happen all the time, of course, but when it does, it's a wonderful moment of discovery and possibility, and it fills me with hope that there can be such moments, such connections across time zones and continents between people who have never looked directly into each other's eyes, only into their avatars. As L1, I have close friends, teachers, colleagues, and acquaintances. I spend most of my time in-world with artists, builders, and other exploring creative types. I've met some of them in the actual world, mostly people who live nearby. We can cross the border between the actual and virtual worlds when we want. And then there are the people who I already know. Even my mother is in Second Life. But when I was in England recently on a family trip, I met the artist who was behind the avatar Maya Paris. We drove miles to see her. Maya is the Second Life friend with whom I spend the most time, talking over ideas, taking scripting classes together, exploring places with our friends, and really cracking each other up. So suddenly, on a surprisingly warm English beach, there was Jackie. The moment of seeing the actual physical person was a shock. We had used voice chat and traded pictures, but still there was a collision. Not the avatar. But then she laughed. I love that laugh. And that was a bridge between the two realities. And it was her. Of course it was her. And the physical person sort of absorbed the avatar. I could see both of them in the person in front of me. And we had a blast. It made me impossibly sad to leave the next day. Many of us in Second Life are interested in mixed reality and combining the virtual and material worlds. I've come to think of all my Second Life friendships like that, because there is always a person on the other side of the computer, even if I don't know who that really is. And it is the emotional authenticity that makes those friendships real, those connections profound. Back in world, I see Jackie in the Maya avatar. It's like an optical illusion.
In my mind's eye, I toggle between the two. Jackie and I, Maya and L1, we collaborate on what author William Gibson called a consensual hallucination, and our friendship is a mixed reality work in progress.
I wonder what we'll do next.